Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Today's Show with Mark and Valerie, where we'll discover the most interesting events that happened in Vietnam for the past week. I'm Mark, your host, speaking from Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. Before we get into the details, let's go over some headlines. Tax exemption package up to 2.6 billion US dollars, says Finance Minister. A positive signal for businesses and individuals affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Great news for the Vietnam tourism industry when the government calls for urgent resumption of international flights. Explore the advancement of science in gene sequencing and the ability to predict the possibilities of diseases. This week's focus, the celebration of Christmas within Vietnamese people. And here's the details. According to Finance Minister Hồ Đức Phúc, the amount of the tax exemption and reduction package under the economic stimulus program could be up to 60,000 billion Vietnam dong, roughly estimate 2.6 billion US dollars. Ho's remarks came after the Vietnamese National Assembly agreed to raise the amount at a conference on the morning of December 24 to review the tax industry. However, the large-scale tax exemption and reduction package can also pose a challenge to the budget revenue management. Previously, in October, the National Assembly Standing Committee issued a tax exemption and reduction package estimated at 21,300 billion Vietnam dong, including a 30% reduction of corporate income tax for units with annual revenue not exceeding 200 billion Vietnam dong, a 30% reduction of value-added tax for production and business enterprises, personal income and value-added tax for small businesses and individuals in areas affected by the pandemic will also be exempted and reduced accordingly. Deputy Prime Minister Phạm Bình Minh has requested relevant ministries and sectors to urgently perform their assigned tasks to resume international commercial flights amid requests for guidelines to resume flights by related ministry arise. In the near future, Vietnam will restore flight routes to Beijing, Tokyo, Seoul, Taipei, Bangkok, Singapore, and others. According to the guidance of the Ministry of Health, people entering Vietnam must have negative PCR test results within 72 hours, except for children under 2 years old. They must also fill out health declaration forms and install the PC COVID applications for health monitoring. Entering people who have been fully vaccinated or have recovered from the disease will self-monitor their health for 3 days at their accommodation. People who have not been vaccinated or received insufficient doses will self-isolate for 7 days at their accommodation. The 0-2 defeat against Thailand on the evening of December 23 marked the first defeat of Vietnam to a Southeast Asian team since the semi-finals of the AFF Cup in 2016. This is also Vietnam's 16th loss to Thailand out of 25 confrontations since 1995. With a win rate of 64%, Thailand is still the most annoying opponent of Vietnam in the region. Since the AFF Cup switched to a two-legged format from the semi-finals in 2004, no team has been able to turn the situation around after being defeated 0-2 in the first leg. The away goal rule will not apply for the AFF Cup 2020 since the matches are focused in Singapore. Vietnam will need to win with at least 2 goal differences in the second leg. If there's a tie after 2 innings, the teams will enter overtime and then the tiebreaker. Ho Chi Minh City tourism industry will put public bicycles on tours to promote sustainable tourism, which is in line with the current trend in tourism and modern lifestyle. Visitors can explore the route from the city post office to the Ho Chi Minh Museum by public bicycle to have the most authentic experience of city life. Since December 16, 43 stations with 500 public bicycles have been put into operation, attracting many localities to experience with a price of 10,000 Vietnam dong per hour. Parking spots are arranged on sidewalks of many streets in District 1, bus stops, shelters, parks, tourist attractions, and so on. In addition to providing an option for short-distance traveling, this is also a more convenient way to connect people to the bus station. Currently, science has been able to directly interfere with genes or related gene products, RNA and proteins, to deactivate them. More than 5,000 genetic diseases have been detected in the world. Many of these diseases have found effective prevention methods, namely gene sequencing. Professor Dr. Lê Đình Lương, president of the Vietnam Genetics Association, says that gene sequencing technology can diagnose genetic diseases such as familial high cholesterol, cystic fibrosis, G6PD deficiency, recurrent miscarriages, and so on. In Vietnam, some centers have begun to test genes and guide how to prevent the disease with almost absolute accuracy. For disease screening and prevention, in addition to gene testing, gene products such as RNA and proteins can also be tested. Human genes and gene products do not change from fetus to adulthood, so gene reading can be done at any age, said Lương. According to the National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting, the cold air will begin to approach the northern region on December 25. It will first reach the northern mountains, then the Midlands and plains. At the peaks with a height of 2,000 meters above sea level, such as Phan Xipang in Lao Cai province, the temperature may drop to zero with a chance of frost and snowfall. The cold air would then spread to the north-central region the day after, then invade the central and south-central regions. The National Committee for Natural Disaster Prevention and Control requires localities to take measures to ensure safety for people, especially the elderly, children, and students, limit outdoor activities, and refrain from using honeycomb charcoal stoves in closed rooms. Local authorities also need to guide people to strengthen bonds, keep warm, and store food to prevent hunger and cold. The meteorological agency said that this year's winter will come earlier and will be colder than 2020. The severe cold period may last from December 2021 to February 2022. Although the COVID-19 variant Omicron is still rampant around the world, a lot of good news related to vaccines, COVID-19 drugs, and the severity of symptoms caused by the new variants have been recorded in the past week. 2 days before Christmas, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) confirmed that 2 anti-COVID-19 pills, Merck Molnupiravir and Pfizer Paxlovid, are effective against the new variant. The decisions came after the European Medicines Agency licensed Paxlovid. Preliminary analysis showed that taking the two drugs together increases the treatment effectiveness of COVID-19. Another positive signal comes from Scotland and South Africa. Two countries said that hospitalization rates for Omicron infections appear to be lower than those of Delta and other variants of the virus. The risk of getting serious symptoms, oxygen breathing requirements, and admission to the ICU is also lower in hospitalized patients with Omicron infections than with other variants. This is new evidence that Omicron causes milder symptoms in populations with high levels of immunity. What is not clear is whether Omicron's virulence is actually weaker than the previous variants. Like other countries around the world, Vietnamese Christmas Eve is a festival of light. The sparkling decorations in various shapes and sizes can be seen in every corner, especially in Christian hamlets. Such miraculous lights, like glittering stars in the sky, bring the feeling of warmth, serenity, and hopefulness to all the people standing under their aura. It's rare to find a real pine tree on Christmas Eve in Vietnam, but that doesn't mean plastic pine trees cannot get their own fabulous appearances. Ornaments, wreaths, Christmas lights, and stars are among the essential ingredients in the recipe of building a Christmas tree in Vietnam. While some families enjoy spending their Christmas time at home, others look for a festive and joyful atmosphere in churches to record their precious memories. No matter how Vietnamese people choose to celebrate their Christmas, there's always one thing they cherish, and that's love. Merry Christmas! This marks the end of the first episode of Today's Show with Mark and Valerie. I will hope to see you guys on the next episodes on this program. Thank you.